Hi, boys and girls. So we're going to study our last skill for this year, line graphs. So if you see this table, it shows the attendance at a swimming pool for 5 months, number of people, August, September, October, November, December, and how many people were at the pool on each month. Now that data can also be presented in a line graph. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So we're going to first, when you make a line graph, you have to have a scale. The scale is the numbers on the side. Now ours is number of people. Sometimes it can be a number of anything. But your scale, you have to decide if your scale is going to count by ones or fives or tens or 20s or 50s or 100s or 500s or 1000s. So this one, let's see, every line counts as something. So here we have 1000, but we have 2 lines to get to it. And then we have a line in between 1000 and 2000. So what do you think that line is? It's 500. So we're counting by 500s. So 0, 500, 500 more is 1000, 500 more is 1500, 500 more is 2000, and on and on. Now you don't see every single number on the line graph. Now if you wanted to write every single number, you could, but it's not necessary. So on this line graph, at the bottom of the graph, you would put your other information, which would be the months of the year that we're talking about. I'll put this down here. You can see, and I will label this line August. This one is September, October, November, and this last one will be December. So now in order to graph this information, we have to look up here. So August had 2,500 people. So we take August and we go up 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,000, and we put a dot there. Okay, so I can read that saying in August there were 2,500 people at the pool. In September there were 3,500. So I'm going to go up and find them. 30,000 right here. That should be 3,500. In October, there were only 2,000. And in November, there were 2,500. And in December, there were 4,000. So I'm going to take that one all the way up there. Okay. And that 4,000 should be a little bit higher up. There we go. All right, now, in order to make the graph, we have to connect the dots. And in order to connect the dots, of course, you would need a ruler. Well, Miss Robinson doesn't know where her ruler is. I think she lost it. So I'm going to do my best, but you need a ruler if you're doing this in math because it needs to be precise. But when you're drawing it on a board instead of graph paper, it's difficult. So we're going to go from August to September. I'm going to draw a straight line. Mine doesn't look that straight. We're going to go from September to October. With a ruler, this would be a straight line. We're going to go from October to November. And then we're going to go from November to December. That is so sad. Oh, it is so sad. Let's see if I can do a little bit better here. See, definitely need a ruler to help you. And I gotta fix everything that I messed up. Okay, so this is a line graph. And they're not easy to make, but you won't have to make them this week. I don't think you'll have to make one, maybe one, but you have to be able to read them. All right, so there was an increase in attendance from August to September. You can see there was an increase there. So what was the increase? So from August to September, it went from 2,500 to 3,500. So you subtract 3,500 minus 2,500, and you'd get 1,000. So you might need to, do that on paper. You might be able to do that in your head. Let's try another one. There was a decrease in attendance from September to October. So what was that decrease? Well, it went from 3,500 all the way down to 2,000. So you'd write 3,500 minus 2,000 and find out what the difference there is, which is 1,500. What was the difference between the attendance in September and the attendance in December? So difference, you're looking to subtract there. So find September, 3,500. Find December, 4,000. So that's what, from here to here is what, 500? So that is how you read a line graph. So they're not difficult, but you just need to know the scale. That's important. And you need to know how to read it. And the only way to learn how to read it is to take practice. So we're going to practice on another one. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. So this line graph says, the line graph shows the number of people in a supermarket by the hour from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So you use the graph to answer the questions which follow. So let's look at our scale first. We want to look at our scale here. This is the number of people. And let's look what we're counting by. We have a 0 and then a line and then a 50. And then we have a line and then we have 100. So what is halfway between 0 and 50? Or what's halfway between 50 and 100? It's 25, right? They're counting by 25s. So our scale here is by 25, okay? All right, so at the bottom we have 5 p.m. through 10 p.m. Each line has a time, and they're counting by hours down there. So what was the increase in the number of people from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.? Okay, so here is 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and we went from halfway between 100 and 150. So we went from 125 all the way up to 200. So we used to say 200, we write it over 200 minus 125 would be 75, right? Or you're counting by 25s, you could go 25, 50, 75. You could count by 25s till you get up there. Let's look at the next one. What was the decrease in the number of people from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.? Well, from 8 p.m. we went from 200 people to 9 p.m. we went to 100. So we came down 100 people, didn't we? And that's how you do this. You look at the graph, you study the graph, you find out what the scale is, because that's most important, and then you answer your questions. All right, this line graph shows the weekly sales of furniture made by a company during a 4-week trade fair. So you have to use the graph to answer the questions. Now let's look what they're counting by. I have a 0 and a line, and then the next line is 100,000. And we're talking about amount in dollars, so we're talking big bucks, right? And then we have, so if we're counting by half of 100,000, that would be what, 50,000? So this would be 150,000, 200, 250,000, 300,000. So that's our scale. We're counting by $50,000 in increment. Those are the increments. And then we have first, second, third, fourth week that they were at the trade fair. So the weekly sales decreased from 200,000 in the third week to only 50,000 in the fourth week. So what was that decrease? We could count by 50,000s. 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. Oh my golly, that is a lot of decrease there. So they went from selling $200,000 worth of furniture to only selling $50,000 worth of furniture. So that was a big decrease in the fourth week. So maybe people had gone home or something else was going on in the city on that fourth week that they didn't come and buy furniture from this company. And it says, what was the average weekly sales? So when you have to average something, and we've done averages, it hasn't been that long, right? We've done averages. I'm sorry about that glare there. For some reason, there's this glare right there. So this is important. You have to find the average. To find an average, you have to add and then divide by how many numbers you have. So we have 4 numbers depicted by these dots. So we have to add those amounts. So we have 100,000. I better write in a darker color. Okay, so we have 100,000. We have 150,000. And we have 200,000. And then we have 50,000. We have to add all those together. 2, 3, 4, 5. So the total sales would be $500,000. And now we have to divide that number by how many weeks they were there. And they were there for 4 weeks. And that's what they want, average per week. So let's do 4 into 500,000. So 4 goes into 5 1 time. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 4 goes into 25 times. And then it's going to be 0, 0, 0. So on average, they were selling $125,000 worth of furniture every week. That's a really good average. So if you average it out, you're like, yeah, it was definitely worth it to go to the trade fair. Now, if they just looked at the fourth week, they might say, well, we could probably stay home and do a pretty good amount of selling without going to the trade fair. But when you look at the average, $125,000 a week, that's a good average. All right, we've got another graph to show you. Okay, I could have done this on graph paper, but I think you can see it from where you are. I'm going to hold it back just a little bit. Okay, so this is the line graph, shows the exchange rate between US dollars and Singapore dollars. And this is from years ago. Remember, this is Singapore math. Well, so they're exchanging Singapore money for American money. So it says, let's look at the scale. So we're counting by ones here. The lines are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're also counting here. Every other line is a number. So US dollars to Singapore dollars. So what I have to do is I have to kind of follow with my finger. So it says 2 US dollars. If I come up here and I meet it from over here, would be 4 Singapore dollars. So whatever I can buy with $2 in the United States, it would take 4 Singapore dollars, because that's the exchange. Or if there's something in Singapore that costs $4, you could buy it for just $2 if you were in Singapore. Singapore, $12. All right, so all the way up to 12 here. All right, that, if we go down here, is 6 US dollars, right? So let's do a couple more. How many Singapore dollars can be exchanged if you have 9 US dollars? So come all the way up here to this dot here and come over, and you find out it's 18. So you'd have to have 18 Singapore dollars to be exchanged for 9 US dollars. How many US dollars can be exchanged for Singapore? $10. So if you find $10 and you go here to this dot, come straight down, you would need 5 US dollars. How many US dollars can be exchanged for 16 of Singapore dollars? So you come up here to 16, you go to your line and you come down, and it's $8. So you can see that it's you get half. It takes half the US dollars to make Singapore dollar. So 1 Singapore dollar, you're going to need, 2 Singapore dollars, you're going to get only 1 US dollar for that. That is the exchange rate, 2 to 1. All right, you are ready to read line graphs. You're ready to do workbook exercise 36, and you're ready to do exercise 37. So I wish you great luck in that. I don't think you'll find this difficult. I think you can do everything you need. It's basically some adding, subtracting, finding an average, following the lines on the graph. I don't think you'll have any problem with this. So you are ready to do both of those, and good luck with that.